Welcome back, everybody, to Hardcore Gaming Dave's channel. Today I'm going to do a DM East run on my Mage. I haven't played my Mage in several months now. I mained my Warlock, but after my last DM East video, everybody was a little skeptical that it can only be done on Warlocks. And I think you're able to do it on any class that's a caster. You know, hunters, shamans, priests. Druids might be a little tricky, but I'll show you, once you learn the mechanics of how it works, you'll see it just might take a little bit longer than a Warlock. Warlock, I could dot up and hide. This, you can't. And I'm actually going fire spec, which I think is a lot more difficult. I think it'd be a lot easier overall, maybe a little slower. Less deaths, though, as frost, because I had ice barrier. And if you do get sacrificed on the one boss, you could ice block out of it. But I'm trying to go for speed. If you're just learning, I would definitely go frost, take it a little easier. But I'm full fire using a combustion and a little bit of arcane for the mana regen. So my gear, I do have a couple pieces of MC. Like I said, I haven't played in a while, but there's a lot of pieces that I'm missing intellect stamina on, which you should have intellect and stamina on every single piece of gear. I'd sacrifice spell damage all day for survivability. Like if you had 3k health, 6k mana, it'd be so much easier. And a lot of these pulls in here, like I said, frost is definitely the way to go. I just wanted to try it as fire just to see if I could do it. I'm going to be a little rusty, so you'll see I missed some of my mechanics as a mage. So if you're a mage main, this should be a joke. And this should also give you an idea that it's able to be done on anybody. So please check out my other videos. Make sure you comment if you do have questions on something I might have missed, or maybe you know something that I don't. I love to learn. I basically watch hundreds of videos and compile it into something a little easier for everybody to grasp, go a little bit deeper on what to expect. There's a dusty tome that sometimes spawns back here. That's why I take that path. So there's 4 total invisible guys that can spawn in here. 1 could pat here, goes through the hallway. If you ever accidentally pull both of them at the same time, you can run out here, jump on this pillar, and it will actually reset the aggro. They can still hit you a couple times, but it will reset the aggro. So ideally, I want to take them one at a time, because as fire spec, I'm not able to slow them as much. It's much harder. So hopefully I can pick them off one at a time. Let's see. I don't see one. There's another one that just stays stationary here. He's not there. So looking like I'm not seeing any of them. There's one of them. So I'd like to start with a pyroblast on him into scorch. I could skip him altogether, but I might run into him later on, so I might as well just kill him now. Oh, that was a terrible one. Hit him with kind of cold, maybe slow him down a little bit. Alright, so you get a bunch of Fellcloth, demonic runes off them, so it's not bad to kill them anyways. Like I said, I either kill him now or I'm going to end up running into him later. I'd rather do it when I see him, because if he catches me off guard and I don't get my pyroblast off, it's a little bit more difficult. So while I'm waiting on hydrospawn, the pat around, so he pats in a V. He comes to this corner here, this corner here. So I want to wait till he gets to this corner so I can cut through. Now if I was frost spec, I would want to kill these imps and actually kill him. It's a little bit more difficult as fire to kill the imps, unless you use like zapper chargers and everything else. I'm not as good on fire spec, so I'm just going to skip this altogether, and it speeds up the overall time to do this place if you're just going for arcane crystals. So it's not a bad thing, but it is nice killing them because they drop a bunch of greens, a bunch of Fellcloth, stuff like that. He has a chance to drop Essence of Water, the Ace of Elementals, I think it is. So what I could do if I did want to kill this impact, I'd come up here, jump up here. Whoops. As you see, I don't do this often. I usually am on my warlock, so I don't even have to do this. On my warlock, I can enslave them and burst them down. It's a lot easier. So he will pull if you're too close. So if I was going to kill the imps, I'd come up here, I'd put fire ward on and burst just him down. The imps will stay still. You come over here, eat up, and then go kill the imps. But I'm just going to skip them all together. So here's a pad here. Pyroblast will get him out of the way. Like I said, Warlock, I would enslave him, find another one, let them fight each other, nice and easy. Okay, so he puts this slowing poison on. I could use anti-venom to get it off me, and then Frost Nova him in place. So anti-venoms are a must. Nature protection potions a must. And if you're not a mage, then you're going to want... Dang, why did he really put that on me again? If you're not a mage, then you're going to want Skull of Impending Doom for the final boss to get to the safe spot. A mage, you could blink. I'm going to use the Skull of Impending Doom because I find it's more comfortable. Like I said, I don't play my mage much, so if you get a sloppy blink, it could mess things up. I'd rather just play it safe, Skull of Impending Doom. But I mess up because I don't have like a single-handed, so I'm going to have to take my damage weapon off just have Skull of Impending Doom. Ideally, you want like a sword and your Skull of Impending Doom on to get more damage, but it's not as much of a damage race here as survivability and learning how, like I said, the mechanics work. So if you were to kill hydrospawn down there and kill the imps, I would pull this boss up here down there and kite him around the pillar, which if you watch my first video, I go in much more depth on how to do all that. But there's a glitch spot here. It's just a lot trickier, faster timing. So if you're a hunter, other classes, I definitely recommend learning how to kill the imps, killing that. You can do this spot, like I said, it just takes a lot of practice. I think I've wiped like 15 times before I got the hang of this, and still every once in a while he might catch me. So I just wanted to prove the point that it can be done on a mage. So if you ever wanted to get this ghost mushroom, you could jump up on this wall, walk slowly, and then just as you can get it and not pull these guys. So I'm going to pull him with my biggest hitting spell. So I'm going to do a combustion, pyroblast into a scorch. So every time I touch the wall, he runs to the walk. I step off, he runs back to me. So I want to wait till he's at the rock before casting. Now you see I have DBM, so above my head it says I'm being sacrificed. I don't care if you are mid-cast, you get to get to the wall. You don't get greedy, that's how you get sacrificed. So I don't care, you just got to be quick with it though. So it might take a couple times. Like, it's all about luck as far as that goes, is if he doesn't cast it or not, that you get a spell off. So this is where it could take a little bit longer, and this is why it's easier on a warlock, because I could just dot him up, and even if I'm hiding, he's still at least taking damage. So once he gets close to the rock, get out there, hit him. You want to use something that's under 2-second cast, so if you do have to stop the cast, you don't waste that much time. That's kind of why I'm doing fire spec, so my scorch does a decent bit of damage, but you could easily frostbolt him. You could scorch as frost. It'd just take a little bit longer, but it'd still be a little bit safer. Because here, if he sacrificed you and you're frost, you would ice block, get off the table, blink back to this spot, and keep going. If I get sacrificed, I'm dead every time. There's no surviving it. You just got to practice, the reaction times. Like I said, the DBM add-on is a lifesaver because it does make it pretty aware that I'm getting sacrificed. You could also see his cast bar there. Once he's under 2,000 health, he slows down his walking speed. He will still sacrifice, so you just got to be careful. So there we go. There's a kill for him. Nice and easy. And this is the guy I got my epic book off of. I sold for like 600 gold early in the game. It's what paid for my epic mount on my warlock. Now they're like 300 gold, but still, I mean, if you get one of them, it's, you know, a nice little extra chunk of change. So if you were to die once or twice and you have to keep running back in here, those invisible guys will respawn. So just be wary and be careful. Now, if you just one-shot everything like you should after a couple times of practice, you know, I don't want to hear in the comments, I can't do it. And then I'm like, oh, how many times did you try? 3. Like, no. Like this method, if done right, and you get down the speed and everything, you could make easy over 100 gold. So you think something where you're making 100 gold, probably one of the best methods in the game, is going to be easy? No, it takes practice. I mean, you can go make your 50 gold somewhere else while I'm sitting here making 100 plus getting epics. It just takes, like, that's why not everybody does it, because it's definitely not easy. And I said 20 wipes before I learned how to do that efficiently. Just can't give up. So if you ever get caught in the middle here, between the paths, I could stand across these lashers and it's a safe spot. Between these trees is a safe spot. So I want to pop a nature protection potion. That's what's going to help me against what the last boss casts, which is Wither. And then the other spell he casts is Eviscerate, which drains your mana. That one you can take it off with Anti-Venom. So Anti-Venom, Nature Protection Potion, Skull of Impending Doom. You have to have those. And I've seen multiple ways to do this last boss. I'm going to show you, I think, the easiest way overall. Let me know if you know an easier way, but like pretty much I get it every single time. And this last boss has 3 phases. His main phase that you'll see, his main form, is his most dangerous. That's where he casts those 2, Eviscerate and Wither. Then he has a wolf form that if you let him bite you, does a ton of bleed damage and slows you drastically, so you don't want that. And then a tree form. So what I do is I only fight him when he's in his wolf form or tree form. That's the only time I'm trying to do damage. Other than that, I'm just LOSing his damage spells. So when I drop down, I stay to the left of this rock. If you're over here, there is a chance he will pull on you. So I want to pull when I'm all healed up. So I'm going to switch to my Skull of Impending Doom. I'm not going to have any main hand here. And when the imps come out, when he gets to 50%, imps will come out. I want to have my back against this wall. The imps are going to run the whole way around down this pillar here, hit me. I'm going to let them hit me one time. I'm going to step off, and the reason you put your back against the wall is so you don't get dazed. Skull of Impending Doom to the safe spot. So I'm going to show you here in live time. So the same thing, I'm going to combustion. I'm going to hit this guy as hard as I can for the first couple hits. So our pyroblast into a scorch. So I'm trying to get as much damage, and I'm going to come to this corner here. So when he's in this form, I want to draw him up. There's a boom. Once he's up, I'm going to hide behind this pillar, so if he does cast anything, it LOSs. So now that he's in wolf form, I want to try to do as much possible damage. So I want to use my scorches. I want to use everything. Tree form, still want to do damage. So every time I go between the rock and here, so when I'm up here, he's going to run the whole way up here. And I could just step down. If I needed a bandage, I'd bandage. He has to run pretty much halfway around. So he's back in that form. I want to get back here, draw him up here. When he gets here, drop down, hide behind this pillar. So once he, see how, like back here, he actually, like it forces him up on the ledge. That's, oh, well, nope, not good at all. There's the bleed. Alright, so you guys didn't see that. Don't mind the skeleton there, that was embarrassing. That's what I mean. This place, you mess up, you die. That's why it's such gold, or good gold per hour, because, I mean, you do have to practice it, and I'll keep saying that until you really see that it does take a couple times. Now, that was a stupid mistake. I don't I maybe died like that my first time. I've done over 100 runs before on my Warlock already. So that is very rare that ever happens. But moving forward, I'm going to show you again, because I already, you see the mechanics, you see everything else like that. So you get the point. I want to show you how you get to the final spot. Now sometimes there is a book that will spawn here. If he's at max distance, you can creep up to it and get it without pulling him. But let's try this again here. This is definitely, I find, the hardest spot of the whole thing. This is where it'll take some practice to really master. So like I said, you let him run the whole way up here. Once he gets so far, he steps up on. Up. That should have LOS'd him, but let's not play with that wolf again, huh? So the big thing you don't want to get hit with is Wither. That does the most damage. Once he's up, step behind the pillar, hide a little bit. Man, he keeps eviscerating me, so he's just destroying my mana. It's alright, I have mana gems. So once he gets to 7,000 health, it's going to open up and let the other imps out, and that's where you get the chance to get to the crystals. So let's see, this guy, if he hits you, he just knocks you far back. It's quite annoying. Alright, so this is definitely the most dangerous form. I always come to the far back, let him walk up. Like I said, you'll see when his animation steps up on. Right there, he stepped up on, hide behind the pillar. I didn't get hit with it that time. So 2,000 health, and he's going to open up to the imps. And like I said, you could take this place slow. You don't have to try to like burn it down. Like I'm taking a couple risky moves. And you've seen what happened last time. So 7,000 health. The imps are going to be coming out soon. There they are. Let them come to me. I'm going to step up here, put my back against this wall. I'm going to take 1 or 2 hits here. Step down, Skull of Impending Doom. Run over to here, jump up here, switch to a different offhand that I just bought on the auction house, some piece of crap item. I have to wait till Wither wears off, which could be a problem here. And I want to start spamming now. Boom, invisible. Even though they're coming through here, I'm done. The run's over. Now you get your rich thorium. I'm not even herbalism mining, so this kills me. There's probably 5 crystals just waiting for me. I'm going to miss. But I just showed, I think it took me 3 or 4 attempts realistically to get back in the habit of how to do this place. Mainly as a mage, so I could do the exact same thing on any class. I'm going to see if I can't get one of my guildies to let me borrow their hunter shaman so I can make videos and show you that it is possible. I did it in fire spec, which I think is definitely one of the harder specs. I do more damage, but you see how easy it is. Like a Wither does almost 1,000 health. I only have 2,500. I don't have ice barrier to protect me. But that's why you have the nature protection potion, you use the Skull of Impending Doom. Like there's a lot of little things like having main hands that you can have more health to make it easier of a run. I hope it was a good video overall. Sorry about the, a little mess up there, but I wanted to prove the point. Well, I wasn't trying to do that, but I want to show that, you make a mistake, you do get punished, so it's going to take a couple practice runs. But overall, that's exactly how the mechanics work. And on average, I see, I've probably done 100 runs. 1 of every 3 runs, I'll get an arcane crystal. That's where I come with the 80 gold plus between the greens, the fell cloths, everything else you get. There's many times where I've got 2, 3 back-to-back runs. I went 5 runs with 0. But overall, out of 100, I would say 1 in 3 I get an arcane crystal. And that run right there, I think, was about 20 minutes or so. So I could probably do 3 of those an hour and easily make 80 gold on a mage. But let me know in the comments if you do have any questions. I'd love to, do anything I can to help you, whatever content you want to see next. I got a couple exciting videos coming up with the auction house and PvP. I got a couple already filmed, ready to launch, but hope to hear from you soon. Take care.